You're listening to XVGM Radio. Welcome to XVGM Radio, where the bits keep coming. I'm Mike.
And I'm Justin.
And this is episode 125, Billiards, Pool, and Snooker VGM.
Ooh. Expanded beyond my original idea of just billiards, but nice.
Yeah. Well, I mean, just the conceptual idea of billiards, pool, and snooker.
Yeah.
So
things you could play on a pool table.
Yeah. Or things you do in a pool. Billiards in a pool. Why not?
That'd
be kind of fun.
Terrible.
Yeah, it does. Hey, so we are doing the pool music. We don't do too many sports episodes now and then, but I think you and I are both on the same page that pool, billiards, whatever you want to call it, is fun.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a fun game.
Testing the waters for a bowling episode in the future.
Yes.
It's just going to be that one song from Wii Bowling.
No, it's just going to be that and like Miles Astro Lanes.
Yes.
Yeah. On the N64. So, today we're talking about billiards music that plays in billiards, pool, or snooker video games. We opened with a little Game Boy Advance game called Hardcore Pool, and this came out in 2004. The track that I picked was Saloon Table, and this was by, I believe it's Szymon Szuchaja.
Sure.
I think.
We'll go with that.
I apologize if I butchered your name, but that's what I think is how you pronounce their name. This game looks really cool, and it sounds great too. Let me get, I guess, your opinion first. Like, what did you think of this song?
Yeah, that track was really cool. I enjoyed the heavy bass that came in real near to the beginning there. Mm-hmm. The vocal synth, I don't know how
the robot, you mean?
Yeah. It's very clear, like a vocal sample that's being like crunched and manipulated. I found that funny. I thought that was pretty cool. Yeah. The note bends that are in there, they don't always hit right for me, but I like what they're doing with them, and I don't think that they're completely out of place. I think they probably could have been handled a little bit better, but I enjoy the gumption.
I appreciated the note bends.
Yes,
but I agree with you that I think at times they're a little quirky, but I think the song really picks up when that robot voice comes in. The rest of the soundtrack, by the way, is great. It's all really good stuff.
Electronic like this?
Yeah, like all really quirky, weird electronic stuff. So it's really good. So this kind of came out of nowhere for me while I was picking tracks, and I came upon it. And actually, I couldn't find it anywhere other than on YouTube. So I started going through like the soundtrack because somebody ripped it directly from hardware. So shout out to Vezok on YouTube because that's where we're ripping it from. So.
All right.
So, yeah, because I couldn't find it elsewhere. Either that or we'll hit up our buddy Ed to grab the track for us. But yeah, Hardcore Pool, neat little Game Boy Advance track, which I believe only came out in PAL territories. I couldn't find much information on it, but it looks really cool, like from the gameplay. As far as like the boards, so to speak, when you pick, you could choose different characters, and then once you choose a character, you could do a tournament. You got the Boeing tournament, the Classic tournament, Sovietica tournament, Dreamfly tournament, Mecha tournament, Psycho tournament, Saloon tournament, which I believe is where this track plays.
Table,
yep, and then the Trance tournament. The Trance track is great, but I was like, I don't know if I want to open a track with like a 5-minute like trance track. So instead I went with something a little bit more low key.
Yeah. I like the sound of a Psycho tournament.
Yeah. That's just,
crazy.
Yeah. But that's how it goes.
Nice.
Szymon, I believe is how you pronounce their name, doesn't have much credit wise to their name according to this. Hardcore Pool was their first game, and then they did Sushi Academy on the DS in 2009, Real Politics in 2017 on Windows, and then Flash Out 3D Enhanced Edition in 2022 on Windows. So not much has been seen since, at least credited online. So yeah, cool track, cool little pool game. Not much to say about it, though, but I will say the physics themselves look pretty good for a Game Boy Advance game. The movement of the balls are a little, like, stiff, but it's nothing like on the NES. It's a little bit better than, like, something on the NES, Super NES. So, I think it's pretty good.
Nifty.
Yeah. So I guess we're going to kick this off with my first pick of the official episode, which is from a game called Archer Mclean Presents Pool Paradise. This came out on the GameCube, PlayStation 2, and Windows in 2004. This is track 3, and it's by Tom Davies. All right. Thanks for joining us back on our Billiards, Pool, and Snooker episode. That was Archer Mclean Presents Pool Paradise. Came out in the GameCube, the PlayStation 2, and Windows in 2004, and that was track 3 by Mr. Tom Davies.
Oh, man.
What do you think of this one?
This gave me a lot of thoughts and feelings. I was getting this, imagine a world where time drifts slowly. Pure Moods, Volume 1.
Oh, okay. I feel that.
Yeah, and then once I kind of got over that, I was picking up on some of the other stuff. I really liked the acoustic guitar. The acoustic guitar with those, it sounded like nylon chords. It didn't sound like nylon strings. It didn't sound like metal. That was really cool. I thought that was a nice touch, and I thought it really enhanced kind of this relaxing atmosphere. The whistling that I picked up on was unexpected, and I actually thought it was you. And then I looked at you and I was like, oh, that's not Mike, that's actually the song. Okay.
Or it was in your head.
That's possible too. If nobody else heard whistling, then forget I said anything.
Yeah, right.
And then the synths and the percussion, they felt very subtle to me. I didn't really pick up on them until the end, as the synths got kind of a little louder as they were twinkly. But yeah, no, this was super, super relaxing. Mm-hmm. I mean, not quite lo-fi, but somebody should lo-fi this and I will go to bed to that.
Oh, yeah. I could see that. I would say it's close to lo-fi, but it doesn't have the hip-hop feel that lo-fi has. The low-key lo-fi.
The sound quality is also a little higher than what you would expect on lo-fi. There should be some scratching and popping. And
yeah, it's somewhere in between lo-fi and pure moods. Easy listening.
Low moods.
Yeah, low moods.
Or pure-fi.
Yeah. I really like this track, though. It's very chill. It's very relaxing, and the rest of the soundtrack is very similar. Mm-hmm. So it's nothing too crazy, not like the last track that we played, but it doesn't have too many electronic elements, other than a lot of it feels very natural, very clean in this. So yeah, so cool track. This game I've read about ages ago, and I remember reading online that it has some of the best pool physics of this era.
Of the PS1?
I'm sure that I'm sure that stuff is better now.
Yeah.
But I heard such great things about the game. I heard such amazing things about the soundtrack, and I was like, all right, let me go hunt this down. So I listened to the soundtrack a while back and just kind of put it on while I was working and just really loved it. And I thought, man, this would make a great vinyl. This would make a really good vinyl.
And to me, minus the hip hop elements, putting it on vinyl would make it a lot closer to lo-fi for me.
Yeah, true.
That would be awesome. I would love this the soundtrack on a vinyl.
Yeah, 100%. Agreed. Maybe that's what we should do. We should
petition to have somebody make that.
Yeah. hit up Tom Davies if he owns the rights to it.
Oh, there you go. And then if he says no, then hit up some bootleggers.
Yeah. So Pool Paradise, the full title is Archer Mclean Presents Pool Paradise. For those who don't know, Archer Mclean is, or was, he passed away, but a British video game programmer. He was famous for doing stuff like International Karate. He also worked on Jimmy White's Whirlwind Snooker.
Oh, okay.
So, he had his own studio, I guess, and so he died in 2022. But
recently, okay.
Yeah, fairly recently. But yeah, so that's what's neat about this is that he included a previous arcade game in this that you can unlock. So in this game, there's all different pool and snooker games. There's also beach darts. There's like a game called a Coconut Shy, which I guess is like a British game where you're throwing wooden balls at like a row of like coconuts that are on like posts. And you try to like knock the coconuts off. So yeah, pretty neat. And then there's skee ball. There's like skee ball ramp. And then there's a game called Drop Zone, which is an arcade game that Archer Mclean worked on.
Okay.
So you can play the original game. This is also endorsed by Jimmy White, who, if you don't know, Jimmy White is a pretty famous pool, snooker, billiards player. And he's had multiple games that have his name on them.
Yeah, I know of one.
Jimmy White's Too Cute to Ball.
Yeah. I guess maybe there's two then. But
well, that's the jokey name that we gave.
Right. No, but
Right.
I
That was the Game Boy Color game.
Oh, was that not a sequel?
It's super confusing, but all I'll say is he's in this game as a playable character.
Oh, nice.
And he's the best player in the game.
Of course he is.
Which is weird because the rest of the games that he endorsed didn't have that. So weird. But yeah, there's 10 table sizes and shapes. There's 11 different game types, 5 modes of play, 10 different tournament ladders. I mean, it's really in depth. 30 unique different computer characters that you could play as. And there's like animations too for like the hands. So like when you flip a coin to like figure, they like have these little hands that like flip the coin. So, it's cool. It's a pretty neat game. Tom Davies doesn't have much going on. Pretty much just this and another game called Mercury, which came out on the PSP.
Okay.
Those are his only credits for
Quick and
music.
easy.
Yeah.
It sounds like we're getting a call on the caller request hotline. Okay, yeah, Ginny, go ahead and send that on over.
XVGM Radio, who is this and what can we do for you?
This is Minnesota Fats.
I'm sorry?
This is Minnesota Fats. How's it going?
Oh, Minnesota Fats? The pool legend?
Yeah.
Oh my God, what a coincidence. We're talking about billiards today. What can we do for you, Mr. Fats?
You gotta give me a minute. I'm swallowing some crackers here. Yeah.
Take your time, sir.
Listen, I'm coming here from the grave. I hope you don't mind. Crackers are delicious up here. So, I want you to play a song for me, if you can.
Of course, for Minnesota Fats, the pool legend.
Yeah. It's something from one of my games. Go crazy.
Nothing specific, just anything.
Hold on, I gotta eat a cracker. I'm at full gold.
Oh yeah, from the Sega Saturn.
Yeah.
Okay, I think we can do that.
Okay.
Thanks for calling in, Mr. Fats.
You're welcome, boy.
Have a nice afterlife.
See ya.
All right, so yeah, we're gonna play a track from Minnesota Fats Pool Legend, also known as Side Pocket 2 Densetsu no Hustler. This came out technically on the Genesis and the Sega Saturn, but they had different soundtracks in 1995. So this is Fool's Gold from the Sega Saturn soundtrack, composed by Shogo Sakai, Masaki Iwasaki, and Ao Furukawa. All right, welcome back. That was Minnesota Fats Pool Legend, also known as Side Pocket 2 Densetsu no Hustler. That was the Sega Saturn version of the soundtrack from 1995. Fool's Gold was the name of the track, composed by Shogo Sakai, Masaki Iwasaki, and Ao Furukawa.
Those must have been some really good crackers.
What do you mean?
Well, like, he couldn't even, like, get through what he was, like, he had to pause and eat a cracker.
Oh, yeah, I mean, have you had good crackers?
Not heaven crackers.
I mean, there you go.
Hopefully he's in heaven and eating crackers. I don't think they serve crackers down in hell.
Yeah, I mean, they do. They're just really, really dry.
Oh, yeah. That's a good point.
They're like paper thin. There's like no substance to them.
I have a weird deja vu feeling right now. Like,
Really?
we've had this exact conversation.
Oh, that's in your head. This is all new to me.
Are you sure?
Yes.
We've never had a conversation about crackers in hell?
I don't think so. Not that I remember.
Man, this is super hitting me like deja vu stuff. Anyways.
Yeah, so
Billiards.
This track, what did you think?
Very chill, very samba-esque, very
Yes.
like, relaxing mamba, samba, jamba. Words with A at the end.
Black Mamba Samba.
Yeah. I don't know. It was good. It was very chill. I love the vibe. I am actually blown away that Side Pocket had a sequel called Side Pocket 2 Densetsu no Hustler.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then they when they brought it over, they decided to slap Minnesota Fats on it, who is an actual pool legend. Like,
Yes.
it's not a made up name. Although, based on things we've talked about previously, I don't know if that's something that they frequently do to make up people, because there was that other guy whose name I've already forgotten that you mentioned last break.
Jimmy White?
Jimmy White. Yep.
Jimmy White's too cute to ball?
Yes. So, like, they didn't make him up either. He's an actual
Right.
He's an actual
Jimmy White is a real
billiards
dude.
guy.
Yes.
So it was just interesting, because when I first saw the name of the game, Minnesota Fats, I was just like, that can't be real. No, that's just what he went by.
Yep.
Okay, cool.
Yeah. His real name was Rudolph Wanderone.
Ah, yes.
Yeah. So that was just like his nickname. Well, actually, his nickname was New York Fats. And then as he became a pool player, he turned into Minnesota Fats.
Yep.
So,
Yep.
Yeah.
So, but this game is actually the game that made me kind of think of the idea of saying, hey, we should do a billiards episode.
Oh, cool.
Because it was a few years ago, I think, that I was watching Game Grumps, and they were playing this version of the game, the Sega Saturn version, which is, has the pool games in it, interspersed with full motion video, like just terrible acting.
Yeah.
Like, everybody that was in it looked like they were hired that day to just get all the shots done.
Nice.
It was funny. And so the story of the game is that you are Minnesota Fats trying to, win back some stuff that your nephew, I believe, bet against some other guy.
Okay.
And this other guy's a pool shark, and he lost everything. And then you're making your way to him to try to, like, face off against him and get things back. And then by the time you get there, your nephew has actually changed sides and is on the other is on your rival's side. So you've got to, like, face off against your nephew, this other guy's nephew or son, and then this guy. It's all just in service of putting opponents in front of you to play pool against.
So it's mostly the plot of that Fresh Prince episode where Uncle Phil has to.
Except
Will
Will
never
doesn't
change
switch sides.
Right. Yeah.
That's a fantastic episode.
That is, yeah. Briga Lucille.
Yes.
Great stuff.
Oh man.
So pool. Just Q Sports. That's really what they're called. We probably should have just called this episode Q Sports.
Actually, maybe that's what we will call
Q
it.
Sports VGM.
Retroactively.
Yes. Q Sports are games of skill, and you play them with a Q stick, which is a long,
tapered stick.
Right.
Yes.
Basically. And the pool table is a cloth-covered table. Generally, it's like green, like felt cloth. Yeah. And there's different types of games. There's pocket billiards. There's snooker. There's carom billiards.
There's 9-ball.
9-ball, 8-ball, 16-ball.
It's a lot of balls.
Yeah. So. Balls.
Yeah. And so the object of these Q Sports is to usually hit a ball into a pocket.
Yes.
I think you're usually. I don't know.
Pockets all around the corners and then on the sides.
Two on the one on the left and the right side.
Yeah.
I don't know if all the games you're hitting a cue ball to hit other balls, or if any of the games you're hitting the balls directly. But the ones that I've played, there's always the white cue ball, and you're hitting that to try to knock other balls in.
Right. Generally,
bank shots off the sides, bounce off other balls.
Yeah, and there's different like forms. Like the U.S., like North America, America has their own version of certain types of
Oh,
balls,
yep.
and then the UK also has their own versions of different games too. So every location is different, but I generally would play like 9 and 16 ball.
Yeah, I think
8 ball
most
sometimes.
of what I've played is like a full 16 rack.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I know I've played some of the other games, but I've probably only played them like once or twice. So
Yeah, I like the more restrictive games in the sense that you have to hit a certain ball, because I feel like
you
there's a
gotta
little bit more skill with that.
Especially for like in a full 16 rack game, your last ball that you can hit in is the 8 ball, and you have to call the pocket.
Right,
So,
right,
yeah.
right. Isn't that just called 8 ball though?
I don't think so.
I
don't know.
I thought that's just called 8
it's a
ball.
full rack of 16.
Yeah, I thought that was called 8 ball. I don't know.
Maybe it is because nine ball only has 9 balls.
9 balls, right.
So,
right. Yeah.
But
I only have 2, so
that's fair. It would be very strange otherwise.
yeah.
So Shogo Sakai,
Yes.
one of the composers on this, started doing music composition way back in 1988. He did sound creator on Donald Land on the NES.
That's a McDonald's game.
I was going to say,
or Donald Duck, maybe?
so Donald Duck was my first thought, and then Ronald McDonald Land makes more sense because in Japan it's Donald McDonald.
Yes, Donald McDonald.
That is his name in the Japan.
Well, otherwise his name would be Lonald. Or Lon.
The L and R sound are kind of interchangeable in Japan.
It makes more sense
There
that they
isn't
just
a true
Donald.
L or R sound. But
Donald
yes,
McDonald.
Donald McDonald it is. But Shogo's got a lot of sound credits that
Tons
I'm
of
seeing. Music on obviously this Minnesota Fats Pool Legend 1995. I see Super Smash Brothers Melee in 2001 on the GameCube. They've got music composition as well as Mother 3 on the Game Boy Advance in 2006.
Yep.
Their most recent credits here are for sound in Kirby's Dream Buffet in 2022 on the Switch.
I believe he worked for Data East S.A. Sakata.
That makes sense. This was a Data East game, so
Yeah. I believe that like some of the games that he worked on, like RoboCop and Bad Dudes and all those were games that had ports on the NES that he was credited for, and those were done by SAS Sakata.
Gotcha.
As like a secondary, secondary unit of Data East. So yeah.
Makes sense.
Yeah.
Masaki Iwasaki started out doing sound on Cobra Command in 1988 in the NES. Their music composition credits here are for, Chelnov, Atomic Runner, 1992 on the Genesis.
Oh, yeah.
Heracles no Aiko, Ugo Kidashita Kamigami in 1992 on the Game Boy. And I also see, obviously, Minnesota Fats Pool Legend. And let's jump up to the top here. Most recently, they are credited as sound creators on Windjammers in 2017 and 2018. Those are I think the re-releases on the PlayStation 4 and Switch, respectively.
The Windjammers, yeah.
And then prior to that, Kirby and the Rainbow Curse 2015 on the Wii U.
Yeah.
And then lastly, we have here Ao Furukawa. They only have a few credits here. Their first credit is for Spin Master in 1993 on the Neo Geo and the arcade, Data East Hoops in 1995 on the arcade, this game Minnesota Fats, and then Spin Master again in 2010 on the Zebo. So
the Zebo. Yeah.
Everybody knows the Zebo.
That's a Brazilian game system.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, believe. So
Cool. Yep. Well, what do you got next?
All right, my next track is from a game called Side Pocket, which is the
prequel.
prequel to Side Pocket 2. This is specifically the Genesis version, though this name of the song is also in the Super NES. Totally different song, though. And it's also, there is a version, I believe, on the Game Gear. The game has been released like tons and tons of times on other stuff, but soundtrack-wise specifically, I figured I'd mention those three. This came out in 1992 on the Genesis. California Lemonade is the name of this track, and it's by Masaki Iwasaki and Emi Shimizu. Hey, you're back. That was Side Pocket. The track was California Lemonade off the 1992 Genesis soundtrack by Masaki Iwasaki and Emi Shimizu. I love this soundtrack. It's super chill. I listen to it all the time falling asleep.
This is cute.
Yeah, very relaxing. There's a couple tracks here and there that are a little bit more bouncy, like the main like opening theme, which is like kind of like it's like very kind of exciting and thrilling, and then the rest of the soundtrack is just like kind of chill, laid back like this. So yeah, pretty good.
This is cool. I will say I'm surprised that with Japanese composers, this felt a little twarmpy.
Yeah,
but
it did.
It was what's the word? It was endearing. It wasn't twarmpy to the point that I was like, oh my God, I can't listen to this. This is terrible. I was just like, right off the bat, I noticed it. And I was like, okay, but it works.
Yeah.
It was a little light on the keys, which I liked. And just the whole thing was very bright and happy.
Yeah.
Which, again, I was not expecting the sound that I received. And that I was surprisingly pleased with the end result there.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of the Genesis music that we've listened to that is really technically impressive is very punchy, very like chunky. You know, there's a lot of heavy metal. You know, there's a lot of techno. There's a lot of elements in it that aren't cheery and bright, you know, aside from stuff like the Sonic series and whatnot. But yeah, this was very bright, very cheery, and laid back. And I think it was just trying to kind of emulate that vibe that you would expect in a pool game, where you wouldn't expect like heavy metal type crunchy stuff like Atomic Chelnov or Atomic Runner, the Chelnov game. So yeah, it's good stuff overall. The game has, as I said, been ported multiple times. It's even been converted into a like, I don't know what you would call it. They call it Pocket Gal, which is like an arcade adaptation of the NES version, but it's pretty much the same game as that, but there's just like a bunch of nudity in it. So like, I don't know who that's for. Like, it's for like
people that like to look at naked women and play pool.
Yeah, but it's called Pocket Gal. So like, you think by that name, it would be like for girls, but no, not necessarily.
Yeah.
But anywho, this game is neat in the sense that when it released originally, it was like the NES, the Game Boy versions, and then they re-released the game, revamped the graphics, enhanced everything, and the main like portion of the game is pretty much identical to the NES version, but they made a bunch of changes on the Pocket Game mode, which now features 5 levels that are like locations instead of like, different boards. So Los Angeles, San Francisco, New York City, Atlantic City, and Las Vegas. So there's 8 lives that you get. And there's also a trick shot mode, which is featured as well. You could try out like 19 different trick shot levels, and they get like harder as time goes on. So it's pretty cool. It's fun. It's a very laid back game. It's the perfect game on the Genesis to just like pop on and just vibe out to. It's not a great pool game, but it's just like a fun, relaxing like time killer. In my opinion, like it's cool if you're just chilling out, vibing to the soundtrack, and just like want something to play that's like really low key. So, but yeah, that's Side Pocket. Oh, also the Genesis and Super Nintendo versions of the game have characters like in it, and the characters are like homages to the movie The Color of Money, the 1986 billiard movie.
Oh, okay, yeah.
So it's got characters that look like Tom Cruise, characters that look like Paul Newman, which are the 2 main like actors that played characters in the movie. So I thought that was pretty neat.
Nice.
Yeah, pretty cool. Surprised they got away with that. Emi Shimizu, who's the other composer that we haven't already talked about on this, has not done much, but everything that they've done is great. Side Pocket on the Genesis here, Congo's Caper on the Super NES, they did sound and music. High Seas Havoc, which is another Data East great soundtrack game. Metal Max 2 in 93 on the Super Famicom. ABC Monday Night Football, and then that Heracles game that you mentioned earlier, Heracles no Echo 4. So yeah, and that's pretty much it for them. I do really dig the soundtrack in this, so if you are looking for something just chill to put on, this would be a good pick.
Fair. That's really cool.
What do you got coming up?
All right, so next up I have a game called Lunar Pool. This is an NES game from 1985. The track we're going to hear is called Menu, and it was by Masanori Miyamoto. All right, you are back from Menu from Lunar Pool, the 1985 NES game. Also came out on a number of other consoles. It came out first on the PC-88 in June of 85. This came out in the NES in December of 85. It also came out in the MSX and was ported to the Wii Virtual Console in 2007. And that track was composed by Masanori Miyamoto.
Is this like a futuristic game?
Not really. Like I think so some of the theming is there.
Yeah.
But it's kind of like if you took mini golf and made it pool. Or billiards.
Oh, okay.
So there are different boards. They are not your standard, 6-hole or 6-pocket pool tables.
Yeah.
A lot of these boards actually look like mini golf boards to me.
Oh, that's neat.
You have a cue ball, and then each time it's your turn, your object is to get a specific colored ball into a pocket that's somewhere on the board, and you lose a life if you don't make it in 3 shots or if you accidentally pocket the cue ball.
Okay.
So it is interesting. I saw the name of this game and immediately thought like, oh, I wonder if this is like LUNAR, like based off of Lunar Games.
Oh,
it's not even close.
No, not at all.
well before all that stuff. But
yeah,
that was my first thought when I saw.
That's understandable.
Like, oh man, like somebody made a pool game with Lunar,
with lunar characters. Right.
Let's go.
Yeah.
But it actually turned out to be slightly more interesting than that. Like I said, with the whole mini golf-esque thing. So
that's cool.
Yeah. It looks kind of neat. It did come out in the U.S. It actually came out in the U.S. in 1987, 2 years after it came out in Japan.
I think I briefly played this, really, really briefly. Huh. Yeah, I don't think I've ever owned it, but I think I briefly rented it or played it or something, and was not impressed.
No?
If I recall, I don't remember being impressed.
That's unfortunate.
Yeah.
One of the other things about this game that is kind of unique, the game includes an adjustable friction setting, which determines how quickly the balls slow down after you hit them.
Ooh.
And it's also affected by different amounts of gravity, hence, I guess, the lunar reference in the title, along with like the moon-related background imagery throughout the game. So I guess, there is some of that theming there. It's not clear to me whether there is gravity settings or different gravity throughout the game, but being able to adjust the friction is kind of interesting because your ball's either going to go further or stop shorter.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah.
The track itself, man, there's something it reminds me of. I'm struggling trying to remember. The only thing I can think of is Ghouls and Ghosts. That da, 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 da.
Yeah, I was just gonna say
something about that. Just like it reminds me of da 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 da.
Yeah, I see what you're saying.
It's like the notes are like inverted.
Yeah,
you know. Huh. That's the only thing that kept popping into my head was like, why does this sound like Ghouls and Ghosts or Ghosts and Goblins? Or
yeah. I didn't pick up on that. I will say, like, it sounded somewhat familiar to me as well, and maybe I was picking up on that same thing and just didn't realize it. But I definitely didn't have Ghouls and Ghosts or Ghosts and Goblins in my mind as we were talking about it. So that's kind of interesting.
I do get a Moon vibe from this though. Like I picture like with those note bends, like, like jumping on the moon.
Yeah, okay. I can see that. Yeah, the track itself was relatively simplistic. I mean, this is a relatively early game. When did the NES first come out? Was it 85, 84 in Japan?
85 is when the NES came out. So I believe, this is a pretty early release.
Yeah. So, I mean, that explains kind of the simplistic nature of the music. But I really liked it. They had a couple things in there. The percussion made me think of kind of like Atari style games. Like Atari didn't always have like music and whatnot, but a lot of times you had that kind of white noise, that kind of sound when somebody's walking or whatnot. So it just harkened back to even older video game sounds and music to me.
Well, it did come from the PC-88 era and MSX, so that makes sense, musically where it came from. So
yeah. No, that's fair. And speaking of that music, Masanori Minamoto, it looks like they got their start back in 1985 on Godzilla for the MSX. Then they went on to do this, Lunar Pool. They did both the MSX and the NES soundtracks. And a lot of music composition here right up until about 1990. So Jaguar 5 in 1987, Zenek EX in also 1987, Power Strike in 1988 on both the Sega Master System and the MSX. Tombs and Treasures, so not quite Ghosts and Goblins, but Tombs and Treasures.
Yeah, I actually watched a review on that fairly recently.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. It's like a point-and-click game.
Nice. He was a composer on Blazing Lasers in 1989, like TurboGrafx 16, and their last credit for music is Cyberknight, the 1990 TurboGrafx 16 game.
One quick clarification. So this game came out in Japan in late 1985.
December. The NES. Yeah, on the NES, late 1985.
I'm seeing 1987.
For the North American release, that's what I said.
Oh, okay.
I did say that.
December, so it didn't come out in North America on the NES until 1987. It came out on the Famicom in 1985, which, that makes sense. Yeah.
And then the PC-88 in June of 1985.
It got a PAL release in 91. That's super late. Can you imagine like buying this game as a person in like the UK or whatever? Like, oof.
Yeah, 4 years after it came out in Japan, or after it came out in America.
Right.
6 years after it came out in Japan.
Right. Oof. Woof.
Yeah. What does that bring us to here?
That brings to our next track, which is on the Sega Master System called Parlor Games, and there is Billiards in it. This came out in 1987. It's called Five Ball. That's the name of the track, and it's by an unknown composer.
Sounds painful.
Yeah. Oh man, that was Sega Master System Pool. Parlor Games was the name of the game. 1987 was the year of release. We don't know the composer, but it's Five Ball. It's the name of the track. So Parlor Games, there's a bunch of different games. You know, not only billiards, but also darts. There's something else too. But yeah, those are the two big ones, is pool and darts. So pretty cool.
Nice, nice.
Yeah. I get like a very like adult vibe for this one. There's some lovely ladies kind of presenting like all the options to you, you know, in the beginning of the game. And, you know, you can play against the computer. There's 9-ball basic game, 5-ball rotation. I guess when you lose, or if like you want to play again, there's this creepy image of this dude that...
Is that Eminem?
He looks like he's from some horror movie that I feel like I've seen, but I have no idea what it is. I don't know. Maybe it's like Rutger Hauer or something. I don't know. It's like I'm trying to figure out like what that image is from, and it's beyond me, but pretty creepy. This track, very simplistic, easygoing, fun, nothing too wild or crazy. You know, it's just Parlor Games. Yeah. I don't know why I picked this one. I think I mostly wanted to pick it because I was like, what like billiards games are on the Master System? And this was like the only one. I was like, all right.
Yeah.
You know?
No, that's fair. I was looking for a couple different systems as I was going through my picks as well. I will say this track was pretty good. It felt like an easy listening track. I mean, I don't know that that's super descriptive because this music was easy to listen to. But yeah, I didn't find it remarkable in any particular way other than like it was really good for background music and very unoffensive.
I will say that this game has something that I believe the NES side pocket doesn't, and that is you can actually see the computer playing like against you.
Oh.
So you can like see them, you know, leaning over and like hitting the ball, which I don't believe is in side pocket on Nintendo.
Neat.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure Side Pocket 2 or Minnesota Fats does do that.
Well, how could he not? I mean, you know, it's Minnesota Fats.
This is true.
Yeah. There are, I guess, some shots of the player in the NES side pocket, but they're not like on the actual board. It's literally like in the corner.
Yeah.
In the
Because isn't the whole thing top down?
Yeah, it's top down just like this. But the difference is that you're not seeing the guy lean over on the actual board. You're seeing him on like a little TV screen in a corner of the window. So, yeah, there are like some scenes, like some quick cut scenes in side pocket on the NES where like, you know, the guy is winning and, you know, the girl's kind of fawning over him. But yeah, other than that, there's nothing like this in side pocket on NES.
Oh,
so
neat.
You know, I like comparing Master System and NES stuff just to see like the differences and see like what is better, what's not. So, you know, that's always kind of fun to me to see. Not that I always prefer the NES in terms of just like almost everything, but the Master System is a quirky, fun system to find games on. You know, you'll find something and play it and be like, this is really cool.
Yeah.
This could have been on NES, but like it's got that Sega flavor to it. So yeah. And I don't know who the composer is, so
yeah, not a whole lot to talk about there.
Guess we'll move on to another track with another unknown composer.
2 in a row.
Yeah.
Got it. All right. So the game that I've picked from is called Pocket Billiards Funk the 9-Ball.
What? Funk the 9-ball? Man, funk the 9-ball.
Pocket Billiards Funk the 9-Ball.
I love that.
Yeah, that's part of the reason I picked it.
Nice.
This came out in the Game Boy Color back in 2000. The track is just BGM 02, and as you mentioned, we couldn't figure out who the composer was. So. All right, that was Pocket Billiards Funk the 9-Ball, the Game Boy Color game from 2000. The track was BGM 02, and we couldn't find a composer on this one.
Yeah.
That Sawtooth bass.
Jesus. Wow.
Dat Sawtooth
Dat Sawtooth bass. Wow. It's so loud.
It's so prevalent.
It's so overpowering. And all the notes are so flat, too. I gotta say, like, I'm bummed because I feel bad for the rest of the instruments in this, because the rest of the instruments are actually doing some fun stuff.
They are.
Yeah.
I don't know what it was, and I was saying during the break, I feel like when I listened to this the first time at home, that Sawtooth bass was not as loud and in my face and in my ears, and so I may have a sound issue with my equipment at home.
User error.
That I will have to take a look at.
Yeah, I mean, we listened to it a couple different ways, too, while we're here. And it's rough. It's just really abrasive in every single track and every format we could find it in. So, but yeah, the rest of the track is pretty good, aside from just that really abrasive Sawtooth bass.
Yeah, and the thing that made me pick this track over any of the other ones is just that melody. The beginning of the melody reminds me of the song Lowrider. Do 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 do.
Yes.
Do, do, do. It's not exactly.
I was
that,
wondering where I knew, like listening to it, I was like, why does this sound familiar to me? But yeah, that's Lowrider. Very similar. This looks cool though. You got like a bunch of different characters and stuff that looks really like fun and silly.
Yeah. So there are different like wild characters. Like there's a baby character. There's like a sun character. There's like a girl in a frog suit, and it seems to be kind of a standard top-down billiards game. Different boards. So we were talking earlier about the classic billiards. Pool table is like this green felt. Some pool tables have like a red felt and whatnot. And a lot of the different boards that they have here just look unique. Like there is your classic green felt. There's also one that looks like wood slats or like a hardwood flooring almost. Aside from that, it looks to be a pretty standard billiards game. It's really just got a funny name. I mean, between Pocket Billiards, I don't know if any, growing up, uncle, dad, or parents ever made the comment, if you had your hands in your pockets too much, are you playing pocket pool over there? So you've got Pocket Billiards and then Funk the 9-Ball. Like just the entirety of the title is just kind of funny in a very like dad kind of way.
All the characters in this look really trippy. They kind of look like they're right out of Parappa.
Oh, I can kind of see that.
I just noticed that baby.
I just noticed the baby is wearing a strawberry hat. So
yes.
It's like a baby in a strawberry type of a thing.
Yeah. This reminds me of like a lot of games that came out during that era. So I think they were going for like a vibe or a style.
Yeah,
so that makes sense.
People kind of compare it to some rhythm games like Parappa or Beatmania.
Yeah. So that checks out.
Yeah.
Cool.
But it does look pretty interesting. And I mean, I don't think this came out in America.
No, this is Japan exclusive.
Yeah. But everything that I'm seeing here, I don't see anything that's like in Japanese. So this is a game that like if you could get a ROM or if you get a copy of the game, you should still be able to play it in your own native English or something.
Yeah. I'm wondering, so it came out around 2000, which, yeah, that checks out. That makes sense. In terms of like the vibe and style that they're going for with the different characters. Very like Busted Groove, like DDR, like that whole rhythm game vibes.
Up and coming right around that time.
Yep. That checks out.
Yeah, because I remember some of the characters in some of those games were a little off the wall too.
Yeah.
Like I'm pretty sure there was a baby character, and then there were the character with like huge feet, and they all looked very wild. So that's a fair comparison. I did not think of.
Surprising that this did not come out in PAL territories. I feel like this would be like sell really well.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Well, on that note, looks like perfect timing. We're getting another caller request.
Janine, send that on over. XVGM Radio. Who is this, and what can we play for you?
Oh, this is one of your biggest fans, Nick Carney.
Hi, Nick.
Hi.
How's it going?
Oh, it's going just fabulous. I really want to hear some Donkey Kong Country. I'm just feeling, a little bit in the mood to hear some music that's really, really popular.
That is fair, but unfortunately, we are right in the middle of a billiards-based episode. So is there a Donkey Kong pool game?
Oh, billiards! Why would you want to listen to billiards music? There's barely any Japanese-exclusive billiards games.
Plenty, actually.
Poppycock.
I mean, that too. I don't think that's one of them, but I've heard of that one.
Poppycock?
Yeah?
Like the
Sweet Treat?
that had a game? Like a pool game?
Oh, I don't know. I don't know that there's a game called Poppycock that is a pool game, but I'm fairly certain there's probably a game called Poppycock.
See, this is why I'm signed up for the Patreon. To get really just wonderful exclusives just like this. I love this banter between you guys. It's just so great.
Well, I appreciate that, Nick. That being said, do you have a billiards game you can recommend?
I don't, but, I love the N64. It's just so obscure and weird and different. So, I would say maybe Virtual Pool 64?
I'm pretty sure we can do that. Can you find something, Mike?
How about Track 15?
Ooh.
A spicy one
The famous Track 15.
Yes, by Mr. Rob Wallace.
All right.
Let's listen to that. I'm so sorry. That was Virtual Pool 64. Came out in the N64 in 1998. That was by Rob Wallace, and that track was track 15.
Also known as Why Are You Using So Much Chalk on Your Pool Cue? That's what that should be the name of this track. Too Much Chalk.
Like, this is the reason to pick a song from this game, though, is to talk about how a good chunk of the songs in this game have pool sound effects. Like the balls falling into the pockets, the chalk, him chalking his stick, hitting the balls.
Balls knocking against each other, yeah.
Yeah, all the ridiculous sound effects that you would hear in a pool hall. And they're so poorly timed, too.
Yeah, it's not in beat with the music.
No.
And so that just makes me wonder about this game, because if this is the actual track, if all those sound effects are part of the track and it's not like they just threw that in because those sound effects are in the game, that's got to really mess. I mean, I guess you see what's happening on screen, so it shouldn't mess with you too much, but it would mess with me to just hear the sounds of things that I'm not seeing on my screen.
So that is the ultimate question, and unfortunately I couldn't find I did not get a chance to I've played this back in the day. I remember renting it once when there was nothing available. And I rented this and Milo's Astrolanes, and I had way more fun with Milo's Astrolanes. This is just one of the worst pool games in the sense that there's no characters, there's no really over the top fun stuff to do other than just learn how to play pool. They tried to include a lot of the 3D elements in a pool game that they were really trying to show off. It was on the N64, but it just feels really bland.
Ugh.
Yeah, so it's unfortunate, but I think that everything just sounds way off tempo. It's like Jazz Odyssey. It's just all over the place, and it's not incredibly technical or anything like that. It's not like they're doing it intentionally to be avant-garde or anything like that. Right. It's just
here's a song and then also here's some pool hall sounds.
Right. It reminds me of Paperboy 2. The soundtrack on that on Super NES, where you got that ridiculous Seinfeld slap bass, and
oh my god,
everything sounds kind of off. So that's the kind of vibe I was feeling for this. So
Fair enough.
yeah.
I will say I really did enjoy that really juicy bass. Like the bass that was going on there, the organs and all the other stuff. Like it all sounded good, but those other sound effects just kind of took me out of it. And especially towards the end there with all that chalk. I'm like, it's just like that's too much chalk. If anybody is chalking
You are
there.
so hyper focused on the chalk.
Well, it's because, like, I don't know. I've been yelled at pool halls for, like, over chalking my
Oh,
my
really?
pool cue.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah, so it's just one of those, like, I'm hearing 5 solid seconds of, like, and I'm like, you gotta cut it out. You're gonna mark up the ball. You're gonna get chalk everywhere.
Yeah.
Like, stop it.
Yeah, and it always ends up on your hands, too.
Yes.
Yeah, every time. That's really funny. I would say, I think maybe I do chalk too much, now that I think about it. I'm a chalker.
I mean, I get it. I used to be until multiple people were just like, yo, stop it.
Yeah.
It doesn't even help you that much.
Yeah, you had good friends.
Yeah.
You had good friends telling you what you needed to hear.
Yep.
Yeah. So the composer on this is Rob Wallace. Started off with Classic Concentration in 1990 as an uncredited appearance and did just like a bunch of different like NES games, DOS games, Genesis stuff, Miracle Piano Teaching System in 1993 on the Mac, Monster Bash on DOS, Eagle Eye Mysteries on DOS, a lot of DOS stuff. 1994's Mario Early Years Preschool Fun on the Super NES.
I remember that.
Then they jumped over to the 3DO, Shadow War of Succession in 94, and just kind of bounced all around. There was a Monster Bass HD port that came out in 2021, and he's credited for that. But previous to that, World Class Poker with TJ Cloutier in 2011. He did voice and audio stuff.
Okay.
So, and that's all I got for that. Yeah, I don't know. Kind of a rough track, but those sound samples are just so ridiculous that it's like it's a fun listen just for that.
Yeah, no, I did enjoy it. It was just very, like I said, kind of confusing. But all right, on to my next track here. This is going to be from a game called Backstreet Billiards, composed by Nick Carter, Howie Duro. No, I'm joking. Totally joking.
I immediately thought as soon as you picked this, I was like, he's going to make a Backstreet Boys reference. Or
how can I not? Oh,
Yeah.
one of us has to.
Yeah, one of us had to.
But yeah, Backstreet Billiards. This is a PS1 game, came out in 1998. The track is called Street, and it was composed by Minoru Endo, Makoto Igarashi, and Hironobu Yahata. Welcome back. That was Backstreet Billiards, the 1998 PS1 game. Street was the name of the track, and the composers were Minoru Endo, Makoto Igarashi, and Hironobu Yahata.
That was the smoothest Backstreet Boys track I've ever heard.
It absolutely was. Backstreet's back. All right.
All right.
Oh, man. But everything about this track, I absolutely love. The upright bass is so smooth. The piano is super jazzy.
Buttery.
The track itself reminds me of a Vince Guaraldi track.
Yes.
You know Vince Guaraldi?
Oh, yeah.
Okay,
Charlie
good.
Brown. Yeah.
The Charlie Brown Christmas soundtrack was one of my favorites growing up. I listened to it a million times, and I got a good sense for Vince Guaraldi and his jazz stylings, and this didn't feel exactly the same, but it felt almost inspired by Vince Guaraldi.
I've been going to the library within the past few years just because I pay taxes. Why not? And they have a pretty decent selection of music, both new and old, and they had the Vince Guaraldi collection of music. So I just grabbed it, ripped it, brought it home, ripped it, returned it, and I listen to it often when I fall asleep. I love this type of music. Just smooth, chill jazz, Miles Davis, Vince Guaraldi, this is my jam right here.
Yeah, this is music you could read comics to, you know?
Yes, absolutely.
So last night we did our XVGM After Dark for Super Mario World Jazz, and it's just, the vibe is very similar.
Yeah, we definitely have a mutual love of smooth jazz. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
So this game came out here as Backstreet Billiards. In Japan, it was called Carom Shot 2. It was the sequel to the 1997 video game Carom Shot, which was only released in Japan for the PlayStation, so it didn't come out over here. Not a whole lot about this game. It was a billiards game, and that's what everybody says. Everybody says this is a billiards game. The Wikipedia page for it is very, very bare bones. Even outside of that, I don't see a whole lot else. It's got kind of an anime-inspired cutscenes, or maybe not really cutscenes so much as visual novel style scenes.
Oh, neat.
Different characters that you can talk to. The options when talking to a character here are look, talk, queue, item, move, and save. But on the PlayStation, very much is using a lot of that 3D rendering. Some of the shots that I'm seeing for playing pool, you are behind the stick, behind the cue ball, so you're aiming kind of down the table. It's not a top-down view like a lot of the older games that we were talking about. So you're actually trying to line it up as you would in real life. And then, over on the left-hand side, you've got where you're going to hit on the ball. It starts out dead center. You can move it around. You want to hit it on the bottom if you want to backspin or try to jump it and stuff like that. But definitely not the first pool game to give you that kind of a view. But considering the date, definitely one of the earlier games doing that.
Is the story this looks pretty in depth as far as the story, because there's a lot of cutscenes and stuff with the different characters and everything, and it looks like the whole point of the plot is you're trying to get your dad's keepsake back.
An adventure game where you play as a character on the search for his father's famous pool cue.
That's it. Yeah.
Yeah. So you're trying to get a pool stick.
That's kind of cool. I love the idea of a story mode in a billiards game. Something where you have some characters. It's engaging. It's not just here's pool. I could go play pool. So having something bonus is a good
like
touch.
A story to go along with. Yeah, I mean that's the thing that we were talking about the Minnesota Fats game earlier, and I mean the acting was terrible. I mean laughable really, which is almost a bonus in the sense that it's so bad it's good type of a thing.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean you're right. Having that story and saying okay, so we're not just playing pool. We're trying to save somebody's reputation, or save the community center from being closed down by the evil capitalists or whatever. So it's cool to kind of have that driving factor. Otherwise, especially with a lot of these types of games or sports games in general, where there is no story, you're just playing one level after the other, and it may not be the same thing. The difficulty may ramp up. The AI that you're playing against is going to get harder, but it's just you're kind of doing the same thing over and over. And to have a story to that, you're doing this for a reason, you're trying to accomplish this goal or whatever, is a nice addition to games like this to give you something to do.
Yeah. Very cool. I'll have to see if I could grab this. I mean, I love this music, so and having a story mode in the game is really appealing. So I'll have to see if I can hunt this down.
Yeah, fair enough.
Yeah.
These composers, Makoto Igarashi, started out doing music composition and music production on Akiyama Jin no Sugaku Mystery Hiho Indo no Hono o Shisu Seo, which is a 1994 game for the TurboGrafx CD, or more likely PC Engine CD. They went on to do a whole bunch of other stuff and musical arrangement on My Do It All, which is a 2009 Nintendo DS game. And then Hironobu Yahata started out doing music in Doga de Puzzle da Pupu Kupu in 1995 on the PlayStation. As was the previous composer, they're listed at Music Joe Down Studio. And most recently, they did composition and arrangement on Concept Revolt in 2016 on the 3DS.
Oh, okay.
The last composer we have on here, Minoru Endo, started out doing sound effects on Tengai Makyo Fun Kabuki Den, which is 1993 TurboGrafx CD or PC Engine CD game. Their most recent credits for music composition was this, Backstreet Billiards, and then sound design in 1999, they did Hit Back on the PlayStation.
Cool.
So that's that.
Nice. All right, I'm going to take you to a game that has two different names. I've heard it called World Champion Billard. It's spelled Billard everywhere.
Oh, really?
Yeah, like every source I found spells it Billard. I know. And then it's also called Gustavo Zito, I Play 3D Billiards.
Spelled correctly.
Yes. Windows was the system that it was released on. 2005 was the year of release. This track is called Irish 55, and it's by Luigi De Guida. All right, that was my final pick of the show. Gustavo Zito, I Play 3D Billiards, also known as Gustavo Zito World Champion Billard. Came out on Windows in 2005. That was Irish 55 by Luigi De Guida. I love the track, like super chill jazz again.
I was going to say, we put the super chill jazz tracks right next to each other.
Right.
I will say, distinctively does not remind me of Vince Guaraldi.
No.
This is definitely a different style on the jazz.
Very laid back.
But very, very smooth. It had all the things that I called out in the first one. It had that walking bass. It had the really cool piano. Also had some of the synths that I've come to now associate with pool games. There's just a certain quality of a synth that goes on that I'm like, oh, this is a pool game. Cool.
Yeah. Checks out. There's not much information about this game available on the web. It often gets mistaken for a different game also called World Champion Billiards.
Spelled correct. I mean, that's why they spelled it incorrectly, because they were like, oh, well, if we spell it wrong, it's its own game.
Right. But this game specifically, World Champion Billard, featured by Gustavo Zito. So you're probably wondering, who is that? Gustavo Zito is a billiards player, a poker player. He's done Texas Poker. He's just like the guy for this type of stuff. So he's won a bunch of stuff, world champion of multiple different things all throughout the 90s and 2000s. So his last championship was the European Championship for Nations and Teams. So yeah, he's a busy guy, or he was. Don't really see much going on with him as of now, but he kind of peaked with this game, I guess.
In 2005, got it.
Yeah, of course. There's not much information about the game itself online. So it's a pool simulation, has 11 different variants. Gordiana, Snooker, 8-ball, etc. It's pretty much a pool game by the books. It does have a training mode and exhibition matches, a career mode, but it doesn't matter which mode that you pick, because you have to pick one of 28 unlicensed players and 27 tables in the game in 9 locations. So there's also an arcade mode and a simulation mode too, but I don't know. It seems really bland. It doesn't seem like, the type of game like, Backstreet's Back Billiards.
Yeah.
Where it's got all this extra stuff in it. So, serves its purpose, but not something I would really play. Probably just listen to the soundtrack.
Right.
Yeah. Luigi De Guida is the name of the composer. Might be Luigi De Guida. I'm not sure. But they started out doing the music for this game. They also did sound effects for it. Then they followed up with an Android game called Artemisia, and then a game called The Way of Life Free Edition. Mostly stuck with like handheld, like iPhone type stuff, Windows, all the way up till this year, where they came out with a game called Trident's Tale. And that came out for Windows exclusively. Looks like a fun game that's also available on the Switch, apparently, and some other systems. And yeah, so they did, I guess, the music for that.
All right, cool. Well, then we are going to wrap this up with a game that there's very little to talk about, just because of how hard it was to even find info on the game. The game is called Pool Nation. It came out on the Xbox 360 and PlayStation 3 back in 2012. Looks like it's also been re-released for PS5. The track is called Moonlight Tech, and it's an unknown composer. Ooh. So we're just going to get into it.
All right.
All right, that is it. That's the last track of our Billiards, Pool, and Snooker
Q
Sports focused episode. That was Pool Nation, Xbox 360 in 2012. Technically, it came out on Windows and PS3 in 2013, so the year after. Moonlight Tech was the name of that track, and we don't know who the composer was, so get over it. Really enjoyed the track itself. More of a techno-themed track than some of the other stuff that we've been playing tonight, which is part of the reason that I went with it. I wanted something, not that it was like high energy per se, but it definitely had a different feel from like the jazz or some of the chiptune tracks that we had with that techno vibe.
Yeah, I do get a Moonlight Tech vibe from this track, so it's aptly named. I like the idea of like low-key techno, you know, like not quite ambient, but still like it's busy enough that like you could dance to it, kind of, you could vibe to it. So I was really digging this.
Nice. Yeah, very, very chill track. The soundtrack is not all like this. There are different tracks that are kind of done in different styles. Like I believe there's a track called Electronic, and it's more of an electronic sound. There's a rock track, which I didn't really think sounded like rock, or at least didn't sound like what I expected when I saw the title rock. But there's a handful of tracks on here. They're all unique and they're not bad. I happen to like the techno track the most.
Cool.
The game itself, like I said, I couldn't find a whole lot of information on this game. It was published and developed by Cherry Pop Games. They do a lot of other like pool and they've got games like Snooker Blitz, Pool Blitz, Football Nation VR, Sports Bar VR, Pool Nation FX.
Oh.
So yeah, and then Hydrophobia.
Oh, which we talked about.
Yes, I'm like, it's the only game on this list. I'm like, oh, I've heard of that.
Right. Yeah, that was forever ago that we talked about that. Was that the water episode?
Yes.
It's like episode 27 or 6 or something like that. Yeah.
But yeah, it looks like they do these kind of like pool-ish games. They look pretty good. Like some of the screenshots I've seen from Pool Nation, it looks like a very well graphically done pool game in full 3D. They also have like a VR version, which sounds interesting. And the game has like online and offline play, so you can play against other people online, which is great. One of the things that I wanted to read is on the official description ad blurb, just this first paragraph I thought was interesting. So it says, play Pool Nation and become mesmerized by our balls, entranced by our decals, and unashamedly attached to our cues. So join us, please, and just have fun playing pool. Wow. Warning, contains addictive content.
Oh, wow. So edgy.
Yeah. Mesmerized by their balls. The Cherry Pop Games site actually has another small blurb about Pool Nation specifically, talking about the game. So with 11 addictive game modes, including the adrenaline-pumping endurance, extensive career modes, and 7 exciting online modes, including the new Speed Pool, Pool Nation is the ultimate pool game, downloading over 4 million units worldwide. All I have to say is if this game was so popular, why can't I find anything on Wikipedia or anywhere else?
Right.
But it does actually look kind of cool. I might try to see if I can find it on Windows. I don't know if I'll be able to find... I mean, I've got a 360 and I've got a PS3, but I mean, I don't have live services for either of them, so I don't know that I'm going to be able to find this on either of those.
Considering the Xbox 360 marketplace is shut down.
That's true.
You would not be able to get it unless it came out on either Windows or PS3, or if it was available also on Xbox One.
Right. Yeah. So it did come out in PS3, so if that portion of the PSN is still up, then I might be able to find it there.
Oh, okay.
So either way, I thought it looked really good from the pictures. They're just... The balls all have really good mirror effects on them, so like you can see the other parts of the room that you're in. They're very shiny.
Are you saying that you think that the balls look great?
I do. In fact, I was mesmerized by them.
Nice. I noticed that we didn't pick anything on like modern systems. Do you notice that? We didn't pick anything on like PS4, PS5,
Yeah,
like more modern.
I went looking for, and not that there's nothing there, but I just didn't really see anything that was interesting.
Yeah.
I feel like I'm more interested in how they were doing billiards games back in the day when there were more limitations on how your game was made and what you could do with it.
I'm 100% with you on that. That's why I went for older stuff.
Yeah. Versus like now, a lot of the stuff is, true to life physics and graphics and whatnot, and that's great. And I'm sure the music is good too, as we've heard some really good jazz and some other stuff, but the games themselves aren't quite as interesting. Also, like, like a story mode, maybe there are games like that are more modern with a story mode, but I feel like you're not going to get that as much. Most of the games that are coming out in modern systems are going to be more simulator games.
Right.
It's really just like, here's
straight
your
up
table.
pool.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So,
Agreed. Well, now's the time of the episode where we pick our favorite tracks, which of course is always difficult. Justin, what's your favorite track on this cue ball game?
Hands down, my Backstreet Billiards track.
Yeah.
Like I said, it reminded me of Vince Guaraldi, and it's got a special place in my heart. And so I really enjoyed it. Second place, I would say, is probably your Gustavo Zito track, though, because equally fantastic jazz track. Everything else we played was really good, but it's just nothing stuck with me as much as those two.
Yeah. I will also go with your Backstreet Billiards track. I thought it was great. Loved me some jazz, so that was like, I was gung-ho about that. The Gustavo track is good too. Didn't really have, anything negative to say about it. I thought it was a great track. But I would say of my picks, probably either Hardcore Pool or Pool Paradise were probably my picks.
Okay. Yeah. The Hardcore Pool track was actually really good too. Again, I feel like almost everything we played here was really good, except I think you and I each had one track that was kind of like eh.
Yeah. Let us know what you think of your favorite picks of the tracks we picked in all our social medias, our Discord, email. Hit us up. Let us know what you thought.
So, we'd like to take a moment to thank our Patreon patrons, without whom this show's continued improvement would be impossible. They are Cam Worma, Rage Cage, Kung Fu Carlito of the Heroes 3 podcast, Scott McElhone, Claire Myers, Brad Austin, Chris Murray, Llama Adam, Red Hua, Nick Davis, and Ryan McPherson.
If you would like to become a patron, you can sign up at patreon.com/XVGM Radio. There you can see the different tiers as well. Just $1 gets you a thank you and access to our monthly live shows.
You can visit our website, xvgmradio.com, where you can listen to all the episodes and learn more about your hosts, as well as any of our guests or composers that we've had on the show.
If you'd like to reach out to us, you can always email us at xvgmradio@gmail.com.
If you like what you've heard, please consider giving us a review on iTunes.
You can join our Facebook group and chat with other VGM lovers at www.facebook.com/groups/XVGM Radio, where we talk about everything from current game news to sharing awesome VGM tracks or just talking about the podcast itself.
You can also find us on Twitter and Instagram. Our handle on both those sites is @XVGM Radio.
If you don't have any other social media or just want to try something unique, check us out on our Discord group chat. Links in the show notes. All right, we are coming back in 1 month for a couple different things, starting off with what, Justin?
Oh, starting off with? That's hard to say. I have no idea what order things are going to drop in, so we'll just start with the regular episode. Episode 126 is going to be a deep dive on human entertainment as a developer.
Yeah.
So there's a bunch of games that they've developed and released, and we're going to talk about 10 of them.
Yeah. Clock Tower, Fire Pro Wrestling. They've done a ton of stuff over the years.
We've covered some of that. We covered Fire Pro Wrestling on the wrestling episode.
Yes, we did. Yeah. So, yeah, there's a ton of stuff on this. We obviously won't get to everything that Human Entertainment has ever done, but there's a pretty hefty list that we can sort through to pick some tracks and kind of showcase them as a developer over the years and see where they've gone. So I'm excited to hear and learn more about Human Entertainment. And then, of course, for our XVGM After Dark, which is where we listen to video game music vinyl each month.
This is your pick this month?
Yeah, my pick.
Yeah, for September.
Yeah, for September. And I'm going to be doing Mortal Kombat 1 and 2 on vinyl. I believe these are the arcade versions of the soundtrack. So definitely stay tuned to that one. We have an estimated date of 9/23, so September 23rd of 2025, that you can join us. If you go to our Discord, the event is there, so you won't forget it. And otherwise, you just hit up Justin's Twitch channel at twitch.tv/shock83j16.
That's right.
Yeah. And then we will be back for more in October. But for now, this is Mike.
And Justin.
Signing off for XVGM Radio. All right, you're closing us out. What do you got?
Well, you want to talk about that composer?
Oh, yeah, I'm an idiot. Luigi de Guida is the name of the composer.